Hi and welcome back to the channel. Today's class is the Sky level. This is our most advanced level in the I'm Talking course. We have the module Check-in, which is basic, Takeoff, which is pre-intermediate, In-flight, which is intermediate, and Sky, this level, which is our advanced level. And these classes on our channel, what are they? How are you going to use them? I'm going to tell you all about that today. This is our first class in which I'm going to answer some of your questions. We're going to have a look at the first lesson in the book and much more information coming your way. So welcome to the Sky level, and Sky is a level where you are gaining fluency. You are able to engage in conversations with native speakers or other learners of English at a high level, and my job here is to help you develop your ability to talk about abstract things as well. So it's a super exciting level. So here you can see the level Sky, our advanced course, and you can see the level is B2, C1 on the Common European Framework. And as a long distance course, it's about 30 hours. And if you're studying hybrid, which we do recommend, 30 hours in the platform and 30 hours with your teacher. And we're really focusing a lot also on how you can use your English studying or working abroad. Lots of interesting topics. I'm going to show you that in just a second. Before we dive in and have a look at the topics of these classes, I'd like to tell you about what these classes are and perhaps most importantly, what they are not. These classes on the channel, they don't substitute the classes in the platform, and they don't substitute your classes with your English teacher. It's very important to understand that these serve as a complement, an opportunity for you to ask questions and comment on the classes as a whole. And for me, it's an opportunity to answer some of the questions I receive on a weekly basis. Let's dive in and have a look at some of the topics that you will be working with in this module called Sky. Straight off the bat, we're going to start with a unit called Welcome, and I hope you already studied this in the portal. In case not, you'll have a chance to see some of the things here. It's a way for you to, in a more sophisticated way, revise how you introduce yourself, how you engage in conversations with English-speaking people. We have a topic called Planning Ahead, which is super exciting. Different language and English structures used to talk about plans. Could be personal plans or professional plans, immediate plans or future plans. A lot of things you can do with that. We have a wonderful topic about living abroad. So different considerations on what do I have to think about if I one day decide to live abroad? We have that. We have another interesting topic called the trip overseas, where we follow a person who is traveling. We have cultural impressions, which is a very abstract but quite interesting lesson as well. We dive into facing the unknown with super interesting topics I hope you really enjoy. And we have a lesson here called the job offer, which is a strictly business-oriented or professional class where we look into language related to professional activities, jobs, and so on and so forth. One of my favorite lessons in this module is design and function. So we're diving into the topic of what's the relationship between design and function. We're going to do some case studies as well. It's super interesting. Here's a very mercantile topic called the spending spree. So it's about how people choose to spend their money. That's super interesting as well. Changing business realities. We talk a bit about different technologies and things being used in the job market today. Something about first impressions as well. If you started at this level, Sky, maybe you did a placement test and it was found that you had advanced English, but you'd like to continue your studies and you started with this module. I just want to mention that the books that you have received when you started, you have QR codes. You can scan the QR codes on a tablet or your smartphone. It will take you to exercises that have been chosen specifically for what we're studying in the book here, so that is quite important. Let's have a quick look at a way of asking another person how things are going. You can see here on the welcome, there's a person saying, how have you been? And the person says, I've been great. How about you? And then the other person says, at my end, things are, and he compliments, and I can also tell you that, and then he expands on something. Now, you've studied this in the portal and with your teacher. I just want to emphasize this because I did receive a question on this, and the question was, what does this at my end? And slightly unusual, and you're right, it is slightly unusual. At my end simply means from where I'm standing, from my point of view, the way I see it. So it's essentially a way of saying, well, in my life, what's happening is this and that. So an interesting alternative way of expressing that. As we like to do in the first class, in each module, we give our students an opportunity to introduce themselves. I hope you had a chance to practice in the platform or with your teacher. Here are some of the topics that you should have studied. Answering questions like, how have you spent the past couple of weeks or months? If you've had the opportunity to relax, if you've had to work, for example, if you've been able to travel or stayed at home, and if you chance to make some plans for the remainder of this year. So some of the topics that you might have talked about. Here in the first lesson in the level Sky, we're revising an expression which is really nice to know. And that expression is my time off. And my time off means my free time or the time that I'm not working or I wasn't working. So that's what it means. Once again, if you're new to the Sky level or new to I'm Talking in general, I just want to highlight that in the book that you used to study and in the platform, you always know which language that I would like you to pay extra attention to because we've highlighted in bold, as you can see here. And here in the first read, it goes like this. During recess this year, I had the opportunity to go kite surfing, which I have to say is absolutely astounding. At first, I got a bit scared because the wind is incredibly strong and there is the real danger of seriously hurting other people around the beach. But it was amazing. The speed you can achieve is quite impressive, and I managed to leap more than 20 feet above the waves several times. That was a quick snapshot of a person talking about how he spent his time off. And so the language we highlighted here, I had the opportunity. As we say in Portuguese, it's your oportunidade de fazer tal coisa. It's a great way of expressing that idea, that concept. And we also had a wonderful piece of language here, absolutely astounding. I hope you remember as astounding from your studies in the platform with your teacher. Astounding here means fantastic, incredible. We also saw incredibly strong. We saw real danger, danger, perigo, right? And we saw another adjective, amazing, which also means incredible. A lot of superlatives here, interesting adjectives in the short text, quite impressive. That takes me to one of the first questions here. It's related to the word quite. First of all, it looks a lot like quiet, kept, but it's written a different way, right? So quite means bastante, right? So quite impressive, muito impressionante. Okay? And you will note that the word quite generally always means a lot, or it means very. And also the language leap. Leap is when you jump quite in a good distance. So that's what it means. So you can jump, but a leap is quite long. Leap is frequently used in radical sports like this, but it can also be used to describe technology. For example, artificial intelligence is a technological leap. You can say that with the arrival in a couple of years of quantum computers, we're going to see a leap in what we can achieve in terms of computation, for example, you could say that. In this first lesson, it's also an opportunity just to quickly revise what a typical presentation could look like on a topic. We're not going to go into detail here, but I just want to mention that frequently you can structure your presentation like this. I'd like to start by saying that, maybe tell a story to begin with, and then you can say firstly, and secondly, another interesting thing to mention is that typically in a presentation you might also want to contrast things. You use however, which in Portuguese is entretanto, and then you can summarize, you say to sum up or in a nutshell or something like that. And then perhaps in the end, you take questions if it's a typical presentation. This was a quick introduction to the module called Sky. So Sky 1 is B2C1 on the European framework, the Common European Framework. It's an advanced module. It's a very exciting module because we are dealing with topics that are more abstract, sometimes even fringe topics that I hope you find interesting. And it's important for me to mention that when you study these additional classes in our channel here, please do have your book with you. We're not always going to use the book, but sometimes we are. Don't forget you can use the QR codes to get additional exercises, to do grammar exercises and listening exercises. We also have some speaking exercises. You can practice your pronunciation as well. So I hope you enjoyed your time. I'm looking forward to the next one. Take care. See you soon again. Bye-bye.